Okay, hi teacher. Our group will talk about the Bobo Gas strategy, and the recommendation one is me and Cashin, and recommendation two for Wimbo and Adam. Okay, let's move to the recommendation one, and let's talk about some serious, which is our topic is Bobo Gas strategy, and it is one of the worst industrial disasters the world has ever seen. Thousands of people lost their lives, and so many more were affected, all because of the toxic gas leak. And the heart of it is a poor safety practice and bad suppliers management. Okay, the first one is the bubble gas tragedy, a lesson in suppliers management. It is highlighting the consequence of poor suppliers management and lack of safety training. And that's a huge problem. When you are working with dangerous materials, there are no room for cutting corners. Okay, the next one is the importance of suppliers' product conformity. The Unicombat India must avoid something like this from happening again, and the companies need to set the bar high from day one, and that means only working with suppliers who know what they are doing and follow all the rules. If a suppliers isn't up to scratch, they shouldn't be part of the process. Okay, the next one is environmental protection standards and strictly observe environmental protection standards. So suppliers should use proper equipment, piping, and storage tanks to prevent leaks and hazards. Okay, then my part and the hatching will continue to talk more with recommendation one.
Now let's move on the incentive and policies to improve supply performance and announceability. Companies should offer long-term contracts as iterative and qualified and constantly compliant suppliers. This encourages them to invest in safety, technology, and long-term cooperation. On the one hand, for suppliers who failed to meet safety standards or act negligently, there should be clearly penalty mechanisms such as financial compensation for damage or even contract termination. These measures will ensure suppliers remain committed and aligned with the company's safety expectation. Another essential factor is training and awareness. Regular training is crucial to help suppliers fully understand the company's safety protocols, legal compliance and requirements, and the risk associated with non-conforming product. Many accidents happen simply because of lack of proper knowledge or awareness on the part of suppliers. Lastly, let's talk about rigorous review and constant management to avoid future trends like bumper companies must frequently evaluate supplies qualification and maintain a standardized approach to risk monitoring that includes reviewing safety performance, supply history, and compliance with environment and legal regulation.
I'm going to introduce the recommendation 2, which is establishing ethical and socially responsible governance at UCIL. So, what needs to be done? The core of this recommendation is simple but powerful. Build a corporate culture rooted in ethics and social responsibility. This involves five key actions. 1. Incorporating ethical principles into UCIL safety management systems. 2. Conducting ongoing employee training to enhance safety awareness and ethical standards. Third, establishing transparent and proactive communication channels with communities and stakeholders. Fourth, disclosing potential chemical hazard in structured and accessible way. Fifth, reducing toxic chemical emission and improve environmental impact to rebuild public trust. How should this be implemented? First, ethical values should be embedded in every layer of UCIL safety procedures. Ethical decision making must be seen as a key part of risk management. Second, the company should introduce systematic training programs that go beyond technical knowledge and focus on fostering moral responsibility among employees. Third, UCIL must build trust through transparency, regular public meetings, accessible safety updates, and stakeholder feedback section can bridge the gap between the company and the community. Moreover, using a structured stakeholder engagement model can empower residents with knowledge about chemical risks and the safety measures in place. Lastly, by actively monitoring and reducing toxic emissions, UCIL can demonstrate its long-term commitment to both the environment and the people living nearby. So, who will be responsible? UCIL management will lead this ethical transformation and oversee policy changes. The Human Resources Department will be in charge of developing and executing employee training programs. Community engagement teams will facilitate transparent communication with local residents and other stakeholders. External auditors will monitor compliance and ensure accountability. Where will this happen? Implementation will focus on UCIL's operational sites, especially those handling hazardous chemicals. Community center and town halls will serve as platforms for outreach and engagement. Policy development and oversight will occur at the company's headquarters.
The task will be divided into three sections: the 0 to 6 months, and then the second one is from 6 months to 18 months, and then 18 months to beyond. This entire operations is to ensure that everything is followed through. So, the first 6 months, ethics will be on training every employees held by supervisors, and then stakeholder meetings to maintain open communications and making sure the organizational mission and values are understood and enforced in all operations. And then revise safety protocols and retrain operational employees to do the standards of procedures to make sure they are enforced. And then on the 6 months to 18 months, it's the organizations to be responsible for fully integrating the ethical principles through various monitoring processes, such as control methods, internal policies on unacceptable behaviors. And then to improve community outreach infrastructure, brochures of the chemicals involved in manufacturing process and prevention methods procedures to make sure that they know and understand what's going on around the factories. And then on the 18 months and beyond is to evaluate and refine programs periodically to stay aligned with the organization's vision, mission, and values, and then to ensure compliance in all operational levels, that is direct employees, suppliers, shareholders, and other stakeholders involved, with the changing regulations made by the Government of India. And lastly is to maintain stakeholders' equity by enforcing punishments in the form of penalty, wage cuts, and etc., and rewards methods as well. And finally, one major challenge is the internal resistance. Some employees or managers may not be familiar with ethical governance and may push back. Implementing such a large-scale transformation takes time and money. Most critically, rebuilding trust in a community that has suffered so much is incredibly difficult, but it is not impossible. Thank you for listening to our presentation, and I hope and we hope that this information might help you on your organization. Thank you.